Guys, we need to talk about something very serious. And I know I don't sound serious right now because I don't know how to deal when things get bad. I resort to humor. So yeah, we have something very serious to talk about today. My $30,000 Airbnb mistake. And I didn't even do it, but since I am a host and I do have a business, whatever guests do ultimately falls on me, and it is my problem and it is my mistake. So let's dive right into it. For everyone new here, hi, my name is Hailie. I'm a 22-year-old Airbnb host with 57 Airbnbs. They're all arbitrage. I started when I was 19, but not that long ago, I had a very traumatizing guest experience where I lost $30,000 off of one Airbnb booking, and I want to talk about it. It really sucked, but I definitely learned a lot, and it forced me to look inwards on my business and figure out what I can do better to avoid that from happening again. If you are new here and you've never seen me, make sure you subscribe. Also, thumbs up this video. It helps make sure that more people can see it. And if you have any specific video requests, please comment them down below. And if for some reason this video pushes you and inspires you to do Airbnb after my trauma dump, I do offer mentorship. So if that's something you're interested in, you can find all the information below for that. But yeah, let's get started. I'm going to backtrack a couple months into like December, I believe. I have multiple units in one apartment complex, and everything had been fine up until this point. I got a booking. The booking had no red flags at all. It looked normal. The guest profile checked out. The booking was, pretty expensive. It was for like 5 days. So everything checked out. Nothing was weird. Come check in. Everything was fine. There was no confusion. The guest wasn't really messaging that much, which sometimes can be a red flag, but honestly, everything was smooth until I woke up one morning from an email from the leasing office with a video attached to the email. Now, getting emails from leasing is not always a bad thing. Typically, it is a bad thing, but when you see a video attached to it, you know it's not good. So I literally sat down before I opened it, and I was just like, okay. So I opened the video file, and this video file was literally someone I had never seen before stealing $30,000 worth of electric, like e-bikes, from the resident's bike storage unit in the parking garage. So with this specific building, you get a key fob, which you then use to access the outside of the building and any of the amenities. So whether you're a resident or staying through my Airbnbs, you get the same fob. So with this fob, you can access all the amenities. In this case, one of those amenities is the bike storage room, which is in the parking garage downstairs. Now, in this video, it's a guest that I didn't recognize or see. Now, sometimes in the past, the leasing office has accused me of my guest doing something wrong, but it's turned out to be a resident at the property. Sometimes when I get these accusations, I don't necessarily always believe it at first because it's happened before, which it's an accident where they're like, hey, your guest did this, here's the video. And I'm like, that's not my guest. I check off my cameras, it doesn't check out. So my immediate reaction was, this guest doesn't ring a bell. I'm not sure if this is even my guest, so before I panic, because I was panicking, let me reach out to my team and have them check the cameras. So I sent the video footage into my Discord with all of my VAs, and I said, hey, this is an emergency. Please check all of the cameras on every single floor and let me know if you see this man going in or out of any of our units. After about like 30 minutes, because I have a lot of units in this specific building, unfortunately, this man was staying in one of our properties. At this time, we weren't really checking who booked and then seeing if it matched the person on the Ring camera. That was an issue that I just overlooked and didn't feel the need to do because I didn't know any better. Nothing bad had happened to where I thought, hey, every single day before a guest checks in, let's check their profile and then let's check the Ring after they check in to make sure it matches. It makes sense and it sounds obvious, but it's just something that I was not doing at the time. I then had to work with the leasing to get it figured out because, again, it's my fault. I hosted this guest. It's my responsibility. So I called leasing. Leasing let me know that they had went into the parking garage, backed in their truck next to the bike storage room, opened up the room with the key fob that I provided in the unit, and then proceeded to take 3 electric bikes that belonged to residents at the property. And each bike, unfortunately, was worth $10,000, which is probably why those are the 3 bikes that they stole. Loaded them into the back of his truck, drove off, kept the parking decal, and also kept the key fob, and stole $30,000 worth of electric bikes. The leasing office was very unhappy with me at this point, as you can probably tell, and I totally took accountability for it and was really, really remorseful, and I felt so bad. But at that moment, they were filing a police report against this guest. So I then had to figure out, checking the Ring cameras and checking the Airbnb profile was not something in my systems that I was actively doing. Now, I didn't know I needed to be doing it, which, like I said, when I say it out loud, it's like common sense, but I didn't think I needed to do it, and nothing ever prompted me to start doing it until this moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this man was staying in my Airbnb, and he literally is not the man on his Airbnb account. Like, how did I miss this? How did I not see this? This is so obviously an error that could have been avoided if I had better systems in place. The biggest thing, this guy who stole the bikes and who was staying in the Airbnb was not the same person who booked the Airbnb. So someone booked on behalf for this guest. It'd be like if I booked an Airbnb for you under my profile. So when you show up, the profile says that I'm staying there, Hailie's staying there, but really you're staying there. That's what was going on in this scenario. I had a really deep conversation, heart to heart, with the leasing, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna work on my system. Once the leasing told me that they had filed the police report, I then had to work with them to get extra information through Airbnb, because it basically meant that this person staying in my Airbnb, I had no information on. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what their first last name was. I didn't have their ID, none of that. I was only using Airbnb to vet my guests. Now, the craziest part is when you go on Airbnb and you look up a guest. So for example, this is a guest that I am currently hosting. If you go to right here, this is About Mary. It says she has 5 ratings from 11 reviews, identity verified. If you click identity verified, Airbnb literally tells you that it may work, it may not work. Let me read it to you. They actually just updated this. Wow. They check their legal name and address, social security number check, and government ID check. That's it. That's all they do. So it's like, it may work, it may not work, but that's all they're doing, and that's all I was relying on at the time. After this event where this guest stole $30,000 worth of bikes under someone else's Airbnb profile, I had to fight with Airbnb to get the guest ID, because just because it says their identity is verified, meaning they uploaded their ID, I cannot see it and I cannot get access to it. So when terrible things like this happen, where I'm working with the police, trying to file police reports and figure out who this person was staying in my Airbnb, I had to fight with Airbnb to even get access to their ID card to give it to the police department. So things like that, I really realized there was a huge gap in my business and my systems, and better guest vetting and verification and protection was one thing I was missing. After this whole event, it was very unfortunate, and I ended up working with Airbnb. They helped me get it resolved. Once I realized I couldn't trust Airbnb for the vetting of my guests, I knew I needed something extra and I needed to do better. So although this was unfortunate, it did allow me to reflect on my business and my systems, and I knew I needed to find a solution to help with the vetting process. After this whole entire incident, I ended up going to VRMA in Phoenix, Arizona. This is where I was introduced to Truvy. They just went through a rebrand, so they used to be called Superhog, which that may ring a bell, but they're now known as Truvy. And this is where I was introduced to them, and I signed up with them immediately at that event because it was exactly what I was looking for, and I didn't even know that like there was softwares out there that did that. My biggest thing was the guest verification. Before you can stay at my Airbnb, since they're integrated with my PMS, it's all automated, an automated message goes out to my guests saying, hey, here's the Truvy link, please fill out the form. It's super simple, takes a couple seconds. All you have to do is take a picture of the front of your ID, the back of it, and a selfie of you holding it. and that's it. And literally, this was a game changer. If I need to access anyone's ID, all I have to do is log into my Truvy and I can see their IDs right there. And also, this just gave me that reassurance that if I was hosting someone, that it matched who they said they were on their Airbnb profile. So if I booked an Airbnb for you and you went to upload your ID, it would say, this is not the same person. The information doesn't match. Also pings any of like your social presence. So if you're on like Facebook, it'll pull your Facebook and make sure it matches your information there. Your email, is it a real email? Is it a dead email? It pings all of that. So it's either, yes, they're approved, semi-approved, but it may be a bad guest, or declined, literally do not host them. Truvy also has a direct API connection with the United States National Sex Offender List. So anytime someone fills out their Truvy application, they pull from this list, and if you match with anything on that sex offender list, you immediately are not allowed to book. They say, nope, big red, do not host. And that's great, because if you are operating in a state that it's illegal to host a sex offender, which I wouldn't want to host one anyways, but you can stay compliant because they do have a direct API with that list to pull from to make sure that your guests are not on that list. Another big misconception I had when I first signed up with them was I thought they kind of were like an insurance company, but they're not insurance. They are just protection and verification. So they do protect the structure of your property and the contents inside of the property. But if someone were to go inside your house and fall down the stairs and, you know, pass away or have brain injury, they are not insurance, so they do not protect you from those kinds of things. They just protect the structure and the contents inside your property. So, for example, linens, if your linens are damaged, they cover that for you. It is protection, not insurance, and that is one really big thing that you need to know. Favorite things is you can have a personal watch list through Truvy. So if you have like a block list that you've created from guests you've hosted that you no longer want to host ever again, you can send all this information to Truvy and they personally will upload them onto their watch list or block list. That way, if they ever try to book with you again, they immediately will be blocked from booking, which is amazing because I do have a blocked list that I've created myself of guests that I refuse to ever host again. But the odds of us catching it, because the list is so long now, on our own is really hard. So I sent them all to Truvy. Truvy uploaded them, and if they ever try to rebook again, they immediately will be X, rejected, do not host. Okay, so this is my actual Truvy account. If you go to the bookings tab, I want to show you guys what Truvy has done since I've been using them. So there's been 2,146 people fully approved through Truvy. That means they passed all of their verification processes, everything checked out, they were fully approved. Not approved. 669 people were not approved by Truvy's vetting processes. That is a lot of people who could have done a lot of really, really bad things. Canceled, they canceled 272 people. All of this Truvy does automatically, and this is listed on your bookings dashboard, and this updates in real time. So if someone filled out their form right now and they got approved, that number would automatically go up. Their booking dates, the progress. So action required means they have not submitted every piece of information needed. Maybe they didn't finish their ID. Maybe they didn't sign the rental agreement. That just means that there is something left that they have not completed that they need to do. Not started, meaning they literally haven't started it. Maybe they haven't even opened the link. They have not completed it, they have not started it, and they need to do it. Next is completed, and obviously here you can see the different statuses, but for example, some have been canceled. 2 canceled, 1 not approved, and 2 approved. With this information, you then can click here and say, know your guest report, what went wrong and why it was canceled. These are all of the flags for this specific guest. Domain is a free provider. At least 2 online profiles were found. It was involved in at least a data breach. That's a flag. At least 2 online profiles were found. That's a flag. Phone country and IP country does not match. Getting listings uploaded on Truvy is also super, super simple. All you do is come over here to the integrations tab. These are all of my listings, but basically what you do is come over to the right-hand side of the screen. You will see this blue button that says update listing. Since they are integrated with my PMS, once my listings are live on my PMS, I just literally press update listing, just scroll down. If I was adding a new listing, this is exactly what it would look like. It would be on the very last page, on the very bottom, and instead of this box being a blue check mark like those, it would be hollow like this, and then you would just click it, and then you would press date listing again, and then it would automatically be synced. Deleting listings are also super simple. As you can tell, these two are disabled currently, but literally you disable it with a click of a button as well. I also forgot to mention this, but Truvy also has a resolution center, so that is where you will go if you need help resolving anything. It's super easy to access. I have used it multiple times before, but yeah, as you can tell, it checks for a lot of information that I physically would never ever be able to check or know how to check. And it just ensures that when I am hosting people, I know exactly who I am hosting. I don't want to host a sex offender. My favorite thing about it is the ID verification and protection. The waivers, security deposits, rental agreements are all great bonuses as well, and it's super simple to do it all in one place at one time. I'll actually show you firsthand what these verification links look like for a guest, because I think a huge thing before I use a new software, what is it like for the guest experience? Is it seamless? Is it clean? So it's always good to know what it looks like from the guest point of view as well, and I'm gonna show you. I just copied and pasted one of the guest verification links. This is also great if a guest is having issues. You can actually see what they see. So this is what it looks like. It says, "Welcome, Matthew. Your trip is right around the corner. It's time to get ready. Where I'm covering is the address, and their checkout date is right there as well. All you do is press get started." What is true? What will you need? As part of the pre-check-in process, we need to confirm your identity, a valid form of ID, and get ready to take a selfie. Start verification. Your details. Please enter your details exactly as they appear on your ID. Next, what's your name? And then you go and you upload your ID. I actually don't want to do this on here because this is the actual, one of my guests' actual verification links, and I think doing it may mess it up. Listen from me and start now. If I could go back and implement this software in the very beginning, it would have saved me so much money, so much hassle, and probably relationships with leasing offices, because their biggest thing usually is like the protection of who are you bringing here? Who are you hosting? What background checks are you doing? This is everything. Like if you tell someone, hey, I want to Airbnb your property, and their first thing is like, well, how do I know who you're hosting? What's your processes like? This Truvy touches on every single thing. They don't even check for those kinds of things. I can guarantee, don't check the sex offender list. They don't ping their phone or ping their email to see if it's deliverable. All of these things matter and play a role in who you are hosting. And if you do it for every single guest, which Truvy allows you to do, and it's seamless for the guests, this should be like music to landlords and property managers' ears. Learn from me, do it now. Do it now. Even if you have one unit, do it now. It just makes your business better. But yeah, if you are interested in Truvy, you can sign up with them here. I'll put it in the little notification thing if I can figure out how to do it. And also in my description. I swear by them. It's probably one of my favorite softwares that I've implemented into my tech stack. And if you have one Airbnb or you have 50, this is definitely something you need, and learn firsthand from me so you don't have any of those issues like I did. Thanks for sitting and chatting and listening to me trauma dump a little bit about my horrible guest experience. If you guys have any questions about anything I mentioned, please comment down below. Again, if you are new here and you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please subscribe down below. Also, thumbs up this video and comment any video requests or questions you may have in the description. If you are interested in starting your own Airbnb journey, I do offer mentorship through my Airbnb Takeoff mentorship program with about over 800 students currently, and I would love to help you on your journey. So if you are interested in mentorship, I only take a limited amount of students per month now. DM me ready. So I don't think you can do that on YouTube. Go to my Instagram or my TikTok and DM me ready in all capital letters, and I will reach out to you to see if you're a good fit for my mentorship program. If you have any questions, comment down below, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.